Well, I've been away for a couple of days, and naturally, of course, the second you look away from the internet, news drops, and things start being announced, and there's stuff we need to pay attention to. So today, I want to run through several upcoming announcements of what the devs have cooking for the game going forwards. They've got a couple of announcements, and I think it's really important they do communicate this stuff to us, considering where the game is right now. Just as a quick recap, obviously, the most recent Living World season, Season 4, is now closed. Has been for a while. This map we're currently in, Dragonfall, is getting old to some people. And the thing is, we would expect ourselves to be on the cusp of an expansion, ideally. Season 3 ended, rolled into an expansion really quickly, and then this season came out really quickly. But now, it feels kind of weird. There is no announcement of an expansion, simply Season 5. But when will that be? What will it consist of? How is it that Season 5 can keep us going for however long before finally we get another expansion with the new elite specializations and possibly new features and things, fresh things to be excited about with the game? Whenever there's a period like this where people aren't sure of what's coming or aren't happy with the status quo, people tend to get really angsty and hysterical. And you can definitely see that in the community at the moment. The devs have to communicate on what they have planned, and well, here's what they've got. There's something to be excited and overhyped about. There's something more tangible to be excited about that could be good but seems a bit iffy, and then something you can probably expect. So let's just run on through it in no particular order. Let's go with the big one. This post came out literally yesterday, I think it was. They say, join us for a special live event on August 30th. So this is around PAX, all right? And you'll notice we have a Living World icon here, but the Living World icon is different to the previous implementations we've seen, namely the colors. I think the original version we saw was just white on black. They have had a purple one for the Path of Fire days. Maybe it was a green one for Heart of Thorns days. I'm not entirely sure. But this one's like a multicolored kind of red and blue variant, which I'll come back to in just a second, since most of what we actually have to speculate about, believe it or not, is on this here. Here's what they say. It's a very short post. It's almost time for you to set out on your next adventure. So this definitely is about Living World Season 5. Are you ready to catch the very first look at an all-new chapter in Guild Wars 2's Living World story? Well, we often get that before an episode, but that tends to be just a trailer they throw out, right? Well, here instead they say, join us at the Moore Theatre in Seattle, like a cinema, Washington, on Friday, August 30th at 9 in the morning, and be part of the excitement live. If you can't attend in person, we're also going to live stream. Let's face it, that's where most of us will be watching this, with a developer presentation and more on our official Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook channels. The event is going to run for 45 minutes, so you can kick off your PAX weekend with all of your Guild Wars 2 friends. Attendance is first come, first served. There's no entry fee, no ticket required if you actually go to the theater. Grab your seat early. The first 500 attendees will get Guild Wars 2 swag bag with fun surprises inside, and we'll see you there. So, what do you guys think? The Season 5 announcement is going to be 45 minutes long. This is like an expansion announcement, okay? That's what they did like before Path of Fire, where we had like Mo and then Colin on stage. That's what they did like with Path of Fire itself. Sorry, Heart of Thorns is what I mentioned a second ago with this stage. They did a big one with Path of Fire, and they had the big post show and stuff. They're doing this for a Living World season. Now that to me spells something to be excited about. They have to have something substantive to fill 45 minutes. And the question is, what could that be? Is it the theory that we're actually going to have Living World being a pure substitute for expansions? Are we going to find out in those 45 minutes that the next Living World season is taking us to, say, Cantha, and it will be fully of the scope you'd expect from an X-Pack? Do we really trust that the devs can do that? I mean, this is the stuff that's swirling around our minds right now. The idea of doubling it up, not just as a live-streamed event, which, let's be real, is where most of us are going to watch it, but also in a theater in real life is amazing to me. I'm curious about those swag bags. Obviously, I'm not going to be flying out to be one of the 500. Do you guys think they'll get 500 Guild Wars fans in a theater at 9 o'clock in the morning? I mean, I really hope they do, and I wonder whether we'll see like a live feed of the people that end up going there. But you never know what might be in those swag bags. It could be, you know, Living World Season 5 material that will never come back again. Real collector's items for the big nerds of us out there. I don't know. So anyway, this is the big thing. There's always, with an announcement like this, a warning you kind of have to give. Try not to overhype yourself. I have no real idea where my hype actually exists right now, because I do kind of feel like, look, if it's going to be Living World, it can't be that crazy. But 45 minutes, you look back to, say, the Heart of Thorns announcement and the kind of stuff that they revealed there, anything can happen, I suppose. The main thing, obviously, we can guarantee take away from that event is we will see what kind of story is coming up. And to go back now, let's look at this Living World logo. Remember, Dragon Bash was hosted in Holbrook, and they did have an opportunity to add a lot of new dialogue. A lot of it was fun, quirky, you know, just funny stuff. But there was a Son of Svanir character there that was talking a little bit about Dragon and how it was impervious to fire and so on. And it did seem to maybe be hinting at a Jormag-centric upcoming story. Jormag's a funny dragon that even way back in 2012, the original release, there were so many references that we might be fighting him next. And then we ended up going to Morgemoth, and then we ended up putting him to sleep in Living World Season 3, and then focusing on Balthazar and Kralkatorrik. So who's next? Like, let's think about it, right? There's 3 dragons, guys. Primordus, Jormag, Deep Sea Dragon. It would make sense to me if the devs paired Jormag and Primordus off together. You know, fire versus ice. In a big way, I really like the idea of Primordus being the very last one, since he was the one we were initially introduced to in Eye of the North. He woke up first. He kind of feels like he should be the granddaddy at the very end, especially with Kralkatorrik dealt with and none of that Destiny's Edge story is hanging over anymore. It feels like he could be cool, but what do you guys think about Living World, Flame versus Frost? Obviously, Living World entirely opened as a concept with Flame and Frost and whatnot, and now we see this logo, red and blue, fire and ice. What do you guys think? Is this going to build off of what we saw in Dragon Bash? Is it actually nothing to do with Cantha the next Living World season, but instead we'll be looking at maybe some northern Shiver Peaksy areas? Well, there's even more to substantiate that. Not only was this post revealed, but people who have signed up for their email newsletters had a little bit of extra material too. And it looks like this. Now, someone's hosted it over on Imgur so that everyone can see it. Check it out. You've got the same logo again, Guild Wars 2 Living World, with the red and the blue. But it's back. Join us for a special live event on August 30th. But look at this. It's backed on a snowy theme. And it's not anywhere near Christmas or Winter's Day or anything like that. We could be going to the Shiver Peaks, guys. We could really be looking at some Jormag-centric stuff. And we might finally get something really worthy of the Norn, and something that deflanderizes them and makes them these cool epic heroes that we've been looking forward to for so long. I think that could be very exciting, and a nice payoff on the cracked tooth from however long ago now, right, in Living World Season 3, that kind of ended very limply. Oh, we're going to go fight him, oh, but he's just been put to sleep, and oh, that happened all off screen. Maybe Jormag. I mean, this particularly, with all the snow here, makes me think there's going to be some kind of Shiver Peaks announcement. And then we can get into speculating about where exactly that might be. Will we finally get to see the map surrounding the Eye of the North? I don't know. There are mountains in Cantha, for what it's worth, and snowy regions. We didn't explore many of them in Guild Wars 1, but we did some. So maybe we're looking at that for those of you on the Cantha hype train. Season 5 is Cantha. But, hey, I'm not going to put my my speculations on that too much just for now. Maybe I'll be wrong in the end, but there you have it. So that's kind of the big thing that I think most of us will be thinking about going forward this next month. What exactly is this announcement in a theater and across these live stream events for 45 minutes where they talk about the future of the game? In some ways, I wish it was here now, because like I say, the community, they always get like kids throwing their toys out of the crib, get very hysterical and very charged, right? And always act like it's the first time it's ever happened and the worst it's ever been. I don't think any of that's true. I just think that we need communication and information about what's coming, and it sounds like we're waiting till August 30th for that. Not too great. However, there are some other things coming to the games, so let's get into some of the other announcements. First of all, legendary upgrades. Well, we already knew about these from the post they made a while ago talking about upgrades to chefing and dueling and build templates and all of that. Well, legendary upgrades, finally they've given us the information. Now, if you rewind the clock and you watch my video as that initial announcement came out, I did say that I was a bit curious how this would even be an interesting feature. Can these actually be cosmetic when we have like 6 runes and up to 4 sigils on every single build? Probably not without ludicrous aura stacking. Is it going to be something like where you need the full set to get some kind of cosmetic bonus? Is it going to be purely mechanical? If it is purely mechanical, then I kind of don't like that. Guild Wars was never about grinding for economic benefit and grinding for convenience and stuff like that. Convenience was always at the door in the DNA of this franchise. So can they really do legendaries purely convenience oriented? Well, yeah, that seems to be what they've done. I'm actually fairly mixed on what I see here. First of all, we have a little bit of the user interface. And so as you can see here, there's a customized window. And remember, when we see new UI like this, it's probably still laying groundwork for whatever they've got planned with build templates later. And you'll see, so the item here is, these are legendary shoes, perfected envoy shoes. you can see the defense rating, and then you can see it's selected as assassins. You can see the rune that's selected, and then you can see the infusion that's selected. And each box looks clickable now. So because they're legendary shoes, you can probably click this with the new UI, and it will present a list on the right that allows you to select Berserker or Marauder or Assassin or whatever you want to do, right? Instead of the old right-click stat select menu, it seems like it's going to get filtered into this instead now. And not only do you have the upper one, you have the middle one for runes, and you can see that you can scroll through runes, and then there'll be infusions down here as well. The runes in particular, as you guys know, there are billions of runes in the game, and presumably there'll only be new ones added in Season 5 and beyond. So what concerns me very much here is, I mean, look at this scroll bar. And the full detail of every rune is written. This doesn't look very good to me. This looks like hell to navigate. Couldn't we have a drop-down window, a little bit like we have for amulets and stuff in PvP, or a grid with just icons, so I can see the icon of each rune? And look at the rune icons themselves. They look really weird, right? They look like they're all the generic new icon for this legendary rune we're going to be able to build in the next update. So I really like the idea of having legendary runes and legendary sigils, but this feels really, really clunky to me. And I'm not sure I like it. I think that this needs more work. A drop-down window, or just listing the name of it and you have to mouse over to get the extra information, or, like I said, a grid where you can just mouse through, like literally how they've got it in PvP, would be so much better and more expandable for the future. So, hey, hopefully this is a work in progress, but you would hope they wouldn't show the community a work in progress on their big grand reveal. And yeah, how this will then later hook into build templates, I'm very curious about. I hope that build templates don't end up as cumbersome as this appears to be. Let me tell you that. So anyway, here's what the devs say, specifically how it will work. And they've actually kind of combined this new item feature with one of their other initiatives recently, which is the Mystic Forge economy sync stuff. So check it out. Grandmaster crafters have put their heads together to come up with something new and convenient. Legendary runes and sigils for your equipment. Like, legendary convenience. There's just something off about it to me. Like, they're grasping at straws. Anyway, how legendary upgrades work. Once socketed, a legendary upgrade has the power to take on the properties of any other upgrade of its type. So if you get a legendary rune, then that can be any rune you want in the game, basically. You can freely socket and remove them from any armor without using upgrade extractors, and unlike other legendary items, they have no visual effects at all. Now, those of you who hate all the aura spam are going to be happy about that. Those of you who feel like legendaries need something more tangible to them, you're not going to be happy. To me, this almost feels a bit like... you know, when Bloodstone Fen came out, they added the Bloodstone backpack capacitor and stuff as like trinkets that you could just swap with a little bit of extra magic. It feels like that, except it's been packaged as a legendary and for obviously a different part of our build craft, but still. I'm not sure if it's enough. I'm really not. Legendary runes provide the exact same set bonuses as any other rune. You can combine them with exotic superior runes. For example, if you actually have a real superior rune of the adventurer in your helmet and you add the legendary rune to your boots, if you set the legendary rune to adventure, it will stack together and you'll get T2. I mean, they've done a whole paragraph here for an effect that I think we all expected. How to obtain them. So this is the slightly interesting bit here. Like other legendary items, you get them from the Mystic Forge, so that means gifts, guys. There's going to be all that kind of stuff going on. You'll need to provide several gifts, including one that requires new materials unlocked by a global event. So on July 30th, citizens will be called on to trade in their piles of lucent crystals to crafting disciplined grandmasters in exchange for satchels of loot, with the goal of forcing the knowledge out of the Mystic Forge. Every donation progresses a global community goal. This is not the first time we've seen they've been doing this recently. They've been unlocking new skins out the Forge and so on. Once the goal is complete, the ability to create these new materials for upgrades will become to everyone that can craft them forevermore, right? So anyway, there's going to be some... Not only is the creation of the runes themselves going to be a sync for the game, but unlocking of access to the whole system is going to be a global community event. Realistically, I don't think this will ever fail. The devs have spent too much time and work in making this. It's not like we're going to mess the event up as the community and then we will never get this feature. They will have calibrated it so it's pretty much going to happen. But yeah, I do like the idea of them adding a new feature or a new system and actually tying it to something tangible and fun to rally around in the game. You might not like the specifics of the thing that they've gone with or the specific reward as it is here, but that idea, that concept, I think the game could go with forevermore. So yes, legendary upgrades. I'm not sure how interested I am in them right now, just because I PvP more than anything else, where I've had all this convenience for years and years and years. But you know, that idea of having a pure legendary character, anyone in that position, I know a lot of people are, well, you're going to be looking at this. There is a little bit extra to the story, supposedly data mined or found a while ago now, actually at the end of May. People did find a gift that will come out of the Mystic Forge, presumably at some point, and it costs a lot of currency. It's called the Gift of Upgrades, and here's the wiki page for it. As they say at the top here, this page contains information about an element that is in development. But you can see it here, the Gift of Upgrades, it's a stack of lucent crystals, which remember we're using as a part of the event to get access to it. A stack of charms of brilliant skill and potence. These are all the things from the new Rune and Sigil update a while ago. So it costs a ton. Now, you could have known about this for a while and been stockpiling these items for a while. I haven't. But now with the news, people look back at it, and the price for this stuff has been speculated. It's been bought like to a ludicrous degree. This stuff is now really expensive, and it's bloated the price just for this Gift of Upgrades to insane levels. To the point now where it's like, you instead of going for legendary upgrades, you may as well just go for permanent upgrade extractors or whatever. So there's a lot of like fighting against this right now from the community because they think it's all so expensive. Remember, these pre-patch prices are all speculative, and it's just barons, and the money will eventually settle elsewhere. Hopefully, eventually it's kind of cost effective, but I mean, legendaries being cost effective, is that really what's relevant here? I think that's one of the problems inherent with adding legendaries that are about convenience. What you're telegraphing to the community is who should get them and why, and whether they should be prestige or not. It's just all over the place. So yeah, there you go. That's the Gift of Upgrades, and that's that bit of news. Finally, the devs are talking about the next festival coming. Now, I know we just had a festival in Holbrack with the Dragon Bash, and the devs have got quite a few festivals they can roll through now. And I know that it would feel better to have like a Living World episode and then a festival, and then a Living World episode and then a festival. Something like that would feel pretty good. But there is another one coming, and anyone playing the game last year will be more than familiar with what it probably is. Yeah, it's going to be the Bazaar of the Four Winds and the Zephyrite. They will be returning. They come mostly in the summer, right? And so I've been waiting on this for a while. I've got an awful lot of Ectos that I'm looking to sell, and Ectos tend to spike a little bit during this period of time, so I've been really excited about it. I thought that this was such an incredible update last year with so much going on, so much new dialogue and tuning to make the map work now that mounts are in the game. It was fantastic, right? Really good, and it's one of the reasons why I was confident that the new festival here in Holbrack would be good also. So I know that they feel quite close, but the devs have revealed it is coming. Here's the information. Festival of the Four Winds returns on July 30th, which, if you'll remember from the other post, is also when we can start unlocking our legendary upgrades and stuff. So really, that idea of this bazaar being all about item trading and economy sinks is very cohesive here. They don't say much, except that the Festival of the Four Winds returns next week to whether you like to relax by chilling out at the beach or blowing off steam in combat. This annual summer festival has you covered. And they're also going to be doing a live stream to do with it. So yeah, if you remember the features they added last year, they added some time-gated stuff for some new super shiny sovereign weapons, and you couldn't actually get them all. Even if you did every single daily last year, you couldn't finish your collection and like those grand wind catches and stuff. So, but I got all my dailies last year, and I'm pretty excited to continue that along. So I am pretty pumped for this, and it's something to fill in this really dodgy, wonky space right now where we're stuck, it feels like, in the ocean without a paddle, and we don't know where the currents are leading us. We don't know what Season 5 will be. So yeah, that's going to be on July 30th. We'll have that to hold us over till the big event at the end of August, and then we'll see what's really up. But there you go, guys. That's the three things that they talked about while I was away. Hopefully you feel a little bit more in the loop now, and hopefully I'll have some more stuff for you very soon. We'll just have to see how these festivals go and the legendary upgrades. Cheers, guys. I'll see you next time.